Welcome to the Be Curious podcast by Barton Essentials. I am your host, Melissa Barton, and this is a space for curious folks who want to live well, learn new things, and create a healthier life from the inside out. We're here to talk about natural wellness, essential oils, toxin conscious living, mindset, and simple everyday practices that can help you reconnect with yourself because we want you to be you and be you big. So, whether you're here to learn, explore, or just get a little bit inspired, let's be curious, be well, and be fun together. Today, we have a special guest with us, Kristi Rehm. She's a diamond leader with doTERRA and an amazing mentor to me and many in her beautiful team. I asked Kristi to join us today because her story of how she found doTERRA and how it has changed her life for the better is so powerful. And I'm honored to have her share with us today. So welcome, Kristi.
Thank you, Melissa.
I'm so excited to have you here. I am just, I don't know, I just feel like people want to hear different stories of where people have come from, why they chose doTERRA, and why they're still here with doTERRA. How long ago did you decide to take this journey with doTERRA?
Well, I just had my 17th anniversary with doTERRA. I
I mean,
joined in March of 2009, and that was such a lovely intro that you gave. I'm excited you're doing this podcast, and I love the Be Curious theme. I love your positive energy, and I'm really honored to be here today as your guest.
well, thanks for being here. 17 years, that means doTERRA just turned 18. So you've been with doTERRA basically from the beginning, which is pretty incredible.
Kind of. I was really honored in 2009 when I joined in March. April was their 1 year anniversary, and I got to attend the 1 year anniversary in St. George, Utah with Peggy Smith.
That's so great. Nice. Well, Peggy Smith, she's a legend. She's all of our amazing leader and just she's incredible. So we'll have to get her on this podcast one of these days.
One thing that's really interesting that happened at that 1 year anniversary is Dr. Hill introduced the Aroma Touch blend, and he talked about how powerful it was. And so that was kind of my first introduction to wow, these essential oils do a lot of things.
Yes. Well, the Aroma Touch blend is actually one of my favorites. So I'm going to be highlighting that in just a couple of weeks. So all of you curious ones out there, stay tuned to this podcast. More will come. All right. Well, in the beginning, how were you first introduced to doTERRA? Like what was going on in your life? How did it kind of come about for you?
Well, my life was actually pretty chaotic at that moment. I had been working in direct sales for a company that closed. I came home and I had a recorded message on my home recorder. Remember those?
Mm,
It said, we are going to be closing the company. You can continue to have commissions come in for 30 days, blah, blah, blah. And I was just like overwhelmed. And 3 days later, my boss, I was working for a chiropractor doing insurance billing, said because remember, 2009 wasn't a great year for a lot of people. And
right.
he said, I need to downsize. I'm really sorry, but I'm going to eliminate your position, give your job to the front desk girl, and downsize the staff. So,
Okay. So you lost your side hustle
hmm
and your main job all in the
hmm
same
in
day?
1 week.
Oh, within the same week? Oh my
Yeah.
word.
hmm
Okay. Okay, this is serious.
Yeah, it
Okay.
was. And I was a single mom. I had a 10-year-old and a 12-year-old. And I really didn't know what I was going to do, Melissa. I was just at a crossroad in my life, and I wasn't young. I mean, I was 48,
Okay.
and I was like,
Okay, pause for just a minute. I'm not doing any math here, but you look fantastic, by the way. I'm going to attribute all of that to these amazing essential oils. So,
it hasn't hurt, I'll tell you. doTERRA has been good for me and good for my
okay.
skin.
Yeah,
Um,
I will say you look fantastic.
Thank you. It's
Yeah.
probably the Zoom filter, but
Oh, nice.
um, But
Okay,
yeah, this is so kind of embarrassing to admit, but at that moment I was thinking, what am I going to do to make enough money to make ends meet and still have time with my kids? Because my boys had always been my number one priority, and that's why I worked two part-time jobs was because I needed the flexibility of hours. And these were my two ideas I came up with. One, be a bartender, and because I figured I could make really good tips, or cocktail waitress in a bar,
yeah.
um, because I thought I could make tips and work at night or just the weekends. My second idea was to move in with my aging parents. And
Mhm.
I thought, well, we're talking about trying to find them full-time help. Maybe I could be the full-time help. And I'll just move in there, get a part-time job, take care of mom and dad, and blah, blah, blah. So neither of those ideas were very good, but it was just like that was what was on my mind at the moment. And then uh, my good friend Peggy Smith had been in the same company with me that had the direct sales company that had closed. And I had had a few companies reach out to me and say, "Hey, we'd like to have you come over and work for us." And but nothing had really like been super enticing. You know, there was this one company called Pink Papaya, I remember, and thinking, I don't know if I could work for a company named Pink Papaya and be serious,
Sounds
you
fun.
know? And and so Peggy calls me one day and she said, you know, it's kind of a long story, but the short version is she went to a chamber meeting. She met Jared Winger. Jared Winger introduced her to doTERRA. He said, you should consider this because she said, I've just lost my position at that other company.
Mm.
And
Hmm.
so she made an appointment and she drove to doTERRA headquarters and met with David Sterling and Emily Wright and Greg Cook and asked him a bunch of questions. And about 2 days later, she called me and she said, Kristi, I've been praying about this. I think that the Lord brought doTERRA into my path, and I think that's the company we should go with. And I said, well, Peggy, I'm already looking for work. I don't even think I'm going to go back into direct sales.
Yeah.
And I just need a regular paycheck for the kids and me, And she said, I want you to think about this. I said, Peggy, I don't know anything about essential oils. And she said, I know, neither do I, but we're going to learn. And
Right.
um, so she sent me a little, we call them the Dr. Mom kit. I think it's kind of like the Home Essentials kit. It's the top 12 oils. Now we get them with our product of the month kind of thing. It's
Mhm.
those little 5 ml.
Right. Okay.
And she sent me that and she told me she said, just start putting them on the kids. Like, like we didn't know what we were doing. Just put them
Just
on
use
the
them.
kids.
Yeah.
But she started learning. She got some more time with like Greg and Rob Young, and she was like, I need to know what to do here. And so then she would call me and tell me what she learned. And and mind you, there was no Modern Essentials book. They hadn't even
Mm.
published one yet.
Okay.
And so
So no guidance.
I
You're
had
just
a
like going for it with the oil.
we had a little book that we found out about that was online that was actually part of Wendy James' husband's family had one. And so we got that one and we started looking up everything. And and so then Peggy called me back. I said, "Well, I need time to think about this." So,
Mhm.
is it too long of a story here?
No, you're doing great. So
Okay.
about how long has this been? Like, has it been a week, up to 2 months? Like you're putting oils on willy-nilly? What are we
No,
looking
no,
at?
no. It all happened really fast. Like it was just like she put
Okay.
one in, she said, I think we should go with doTERRA. I'm gonna go. She went back. She got the product. She mailed it to me. I had it like in 5 days. And then she told me just start putting them on the kids. And um then actually I might have had that wrong. She might have sent me a trio pack before I
Mm.
decided, and then sent me the
Okay.
family physician kit after I decided.
Okay.
Um,
Okay.
but I was just like, I didn't really know what to do with these oils, and I didn't even know if it was the right thing to do. I talked to my friends, and my friends were all saying, it sounds kind of obscure. I've never even heard of that. I don't know. And everybody was doubting. Nobody was
Sure.
feeling really good about it. And I talked to my brother, who I always had bounced ideas off of, and he said, "Well, sometimes you have to ride with Wyatt Earp." And I said, "What are you talking about?" And he said, "Peggy's your Wyatt Earp. You're Doc Holliday." Doc Holliday didn't want to fight the fight, but he rode with Wyatt because he was Wyatt's good friend. And you are Peggy's good friend. And she's a smart businesswoman. She trusts God. She believes she's heard from God. And you trust her. So you're going to have to saddle up and ride with Peggy. And so that was my advice that I got, and that's exactly what I did. I was like, okay, if this is where God's brought us, then he's going to have to show us what to do. And so then I still didn't answer Peggy. And so then she called me and she said, "You haven't turned in your paperwork yet." And I said, "I know, I'm having a hard time making a decision." And she said, "Well, you have to decide yes or no. And if you decide yes, you have to be ready to work." And I said, "Well, I'm ready to work. I'm unemployed." I said, "Can I keep looking for a real job?" And she's never let me live that down, that I said that. Can I keep looking for a real job?
Right.
And she said, "Yes, you can keep looking for a real job, but you have to get going."
Mm-hmm.
And I said, "Well, okay." She said, "Kristi, I think this is going to be a really good decision." And she said, "We are going to get you to a place where you have an income and you have enough money to send those boys to college and get yourself out of debt," because I was in a world of debt. And
Mm.
um, I remember standing there. I was standing doing dishes. I can just feel it. You know, it was one of those life moments where you just never will forget. And
Mm-hmm.
she said, we're going to get you an income that you can put the kids through college and you can get out of debt." And I remember thinking, I don't know if that's possible, but if I could just make enough to live on, that would be fantastic. Um, and so then I started working, and that was all happened at the end of March. And so there's actually like two people under me that have lower nu enrollment numbers than me because they got their paperwork to Peggy first. But then she moved them under me when we started. And so yeah, Peggy said, if I put you on my front line, you have to be committed. You have to
Yeah,
work." And so she's been driving me ever since to work.
that's amazing. Okay, so I just want to highlight something here because you mentioned that you single mom, two kids,
Mhm.
in debt,
Hmm.
no jobs, no side hustle, no income, scared, scared. I mean,
Yeah.
realistically, it
Yeah,
was
breathing
scary,
in a
right?
paper bag, kind of scared. Like,
Yeah.
what am
Yeah.
I going to do? How will I ever get out of debt?
Mm,
I will probably never get out of debt because at that point, when you get a lot of debt, and I'm talking thousands of dollars in debt,
mhm.
because I was trying to, well, I was just shuffling the game.
You're trying to live.
I was trying to
Yeah.
live, and I was trying to
Yeah.
pretend like I had more money than I did
Sure.
and get the kids what they needed for school and baseball and whatever. And yeah, I was living beyond my means, and it's not a smart way to go. And it wasn't even who I was, but I didn't know what else to do.
Right.
The only option was to go back to work full time, and I was really against that idea
Right.
because I
Right.
liked being home with the boys
Yeah.
or being available to the boys. I wasn't home, but I was
Right.
available. And
Well,
so,
I highlight that because I feel like that's where a lot of people are right now.
yeah,
They're scared, they're in debt, they don't know what they're going to do, whether they're single or with kids or without kids. I think that's a lot of where
yep,
people are. And you took a chance on not a real job. You took a
yeah,
chance on something really unconventional. And back in 2009, not only was MLMs, direct
mhm,
sales,
right,
pyramid schemes, all that, they were not very popular.
mm-mm,
People were pretty negative, and then you
yeah,
threw essential oils in there. So now so not only are you in the pyramid scheme, but you're in the pyramid scheme snake oil business. And you're
exactly,
like, what am I doing? What have I just
exactly,
done?
mhm,
And
yeah.
so you're thinking, well, hopefully this works.
Yeah,
Um,
and we really counted on the products to work.
yeah.
And, you know, the very next thing I got from Peggy was a box of lifelong vitality pills. And
Mm.
she said, you have to start taking these because these are amazing. And she had been sitting down with Rob Young learning about them. And she said, these are going to give you so much more energy and you're going to feel so much better and start taking them right now. And, you know, it was like,
So
it
you
was
did.
kind of wild, but, because I was unemployed and because I hadn't really gotten figured out what I'm doing with doTERRA yet, and I'm still getting my unemployment check, I thought, okay, well, this is going to be like the one of the few chances I have to take the boys on a road trip to see
Mhm.
some national parks and go to the Midwest to Oklahoma to visit my brother who had moved there.
Okay. And is this the brother that gave you the
Yeah,
ride
the
with
Wyatt Earp advice.
your
Yeah.
Wyatt Earp?
And
Okay. Okay.
so this is another thing that's amazing. My car wouldn't make that trip, and my neighbor said, take our car. I
Hmm.
don't know who does that. I don't know who loans their car to neighbors, but
Okay.
my neighbor did, bless her heart. And
Amazing.
she said, take the van. And so the boys and I took the van. We had no money because of all these things you already know.
Hmm.
I budgeted enough money that we could eat dinner out on the road. And for breakfast, we had cold cereal and milk in the cooler. And at lunch, we had peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. And then we ate out one meal a night. And I had a little tiny travel oil bag of 16 oils.
Okay.
And I kept it on the front seat. I did that because if I got sleepy when I was driving, I would get out the peppermint and I would smell it to wake up.
Amazing. Hmm. Hmm.
Well, pretty soon things started happening. I'm on the road with two boys for 10 days and somebody falls down and gets a cut and I'm putting tea tree on it. And then Dawson gets a migraine and I'm looking up in my book. I've got my little book and I'm looking up what to do for migraines. And then we went and visited and somebody got sunburned and then somebody got a bug bite. And then the next thing I know, Dawson's throwing up because he got stomach food poisoning somewhere where we ate. And I was in Cheyenne, Wyoming. I'm looking at things up in my book. I have my 16 oils. I'm
Okay.
talking to Peggy on the phone, and I remember driving the rest of the way back to Idaho, Melissa, thinking, we have used those oils a lot
Mm.
and they work. And
Okay.
that was in June, and I would say that that was kind of my point of where my belief came into full being. And I thought, there's more to these essential oils than I thought, you know. Up until now, all I've ever used them for is to put them in my bath or to make a pillow mist or something.
Hmm. Hmm.
And there's a lot more to these than meets the eye. And so that was really when I thought, okay, I got to get serious about this.
So your belief came later.
Just,
That's
yeah, 2 months later in June when I was on the road.
okay. And what a great testament to those oils. I mean, they're still the top oils. That Family Essentials kit is kind
Hmm.
of like your holistic medicine cabinet. And it sounds like that's exactly what it was for you on that
Yeah,
trip. All the things that you were
absolutely.
using it for. That's so
Hmm.
great.
Hmm.
So after you find this great belief and you're moving forward,
Hmm.
what's happening? What's going on with the business? Like, is it growing? How's the company? What are you excited about at that moment? Are you still like, I still don't know what I'm doing, but are you sharing
Right.
it with people now? How does it kind of go from there?
Well, because I had been in direct sales before,
Hmm.
I was mostly just trying to do what I had always done, which is get people together, do a presentation, talk to them about, what these oils can do for them. We didn't even
Hmm.
have very many supplements other than lifelong vitality. So it was mostly talking about oils and lifelong vitality. Um, and then trying to get people always, wanting them to get committed to a regular order,
Hmm.
getting their rewards order going because that's part of our commission structure.
Right. Right.
And so um it was just learning a different way to present, but people just in any type of sales, I think people need to have an experience. And so when I get them in together, whether I had 3 people or whether I had 8 people, I was trying to pass oils around and things didn't always work out well because I barely knew what I was doing. And, this one lady, I remember, I forget what, I can't recall what happened, but it was a disaster. She jumped up from the table, ran to the bathroom. Something was burning her face or something. I don't
Oh
remember.
no.
And I mean, all kinds of funny little things because I really just learning too, I'm learning as I go here. And
Hmm.
so, and then I wanted to be I wanted to make sure that because it was a new company and there was that sense of, this is new and, if you want to ride the wave, that it's really important to get going. I just started telling everybody I knew. So I was working my whole warm market, getting all my friends and family enrolled and trying to understand what was going on. And we
Hmm.
got about, I don't know how far into it. And Peggy's like, oh, I think we're not doing this right. We got to do this a different way. And we were like, what? And so we're
Hold
trying to
on.
like
Let me
rearrange,
know. Yeah.
trying to rethink what we're doing. It was kind of comical,
Yeah.
but uh people came into my life. Like I called my really good friend in Alaska, Dominique, and she wasn't really interested. And I said, I think this would be a really good fit for you. You like natural things. Alaskans like natural options. They don't have a lot of medical access in all places in Alaska, so it would
Right.
empower them, and you could make money doing this. And
Hmm.
so she and I had planned a trip before doTERRA ever happened. And I said, why don't we take our trip and you go to convention with me in September?
Oh,
And she said, okay, I'm going to go to convention and I have a list of questions. And if they don't answer my questions, I'm not going to do doTERRA. And then she went and they answered her questions. And that first convention that year was when they sold the very first Modern Essentials book. We each bought one. We took it on our trip to Mexico, which is where we were headed, read the book on the airplane, read the book to each other by the pool, did aroma touch on each other by reading the instructions in the book on the bed in the hotel room.
nice.
And she went on to be a diamond leader on my team, you know.
Incredible.
So I
Incredible.
always say you really should try to enroll your best friend because doing business with your best friend is a lot of fun.
Yeah. Work with your best friend. It's
Yep.
just great. Yeah. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
I can only picture it. You guys are like kicking it in Mexico, bathing yourselves in these amazing essential oils, doing that aroma touch. I'm like, yeah, who wouldn't love that? I'm like, sign me up. I want to be your best friend. That's awesome. So you said that she's a diamond leader. You're a diamond leader. So I'm just kind of curious, and not to put you on the spot, but how many diamond leaders do you have in your team?
Well, at one time we had 9.
Nine. Okay.
Yep.
So,
Mhm.
did they, what, when you say at one time, what does that mean?
Well, there's there's things, I mean, they still exist, but not all of them are actively engaged in the business.
Okay. Okay. I got you. I got you. They didn't like leave or something. They're
No.
just kind of
Mm.
like, yeah, taking life a little bit slower.
Life throws a lot of curveballs at people. And this,
Sure.
I mean, I always remind people you're in business for yourself. I mean, I am in business. This is my business. So what I do affects my business. And so if I take time off to take care of my elderly parents, my business might not grow. If I
Mm-hmm.
take time off to be fully present for children and
Mm-hmm.
not focus on my business might sustain, but it's not going to grow.
Right.
And so it's
Right.
just, but that's one of the lovely things about our business is it does give you that flexibility to
Yeah.
come and go. And both of my parents passed away after doTERRA
Oh,
started in my life. And I was really thankful that I could go spend their last days with them and, come and go as much as I needed to.
okay. So so t our lives are crazy, right? And
Hmm.
you were working doTERRA full time. Maybe some of these other people were working part
Hmm.
time. Um, Let me ask you, did your income when that moment when you were standing there doing those dishes going, I just want to be able to pay the bills,
Hmm.
how long did it take to pay the bills? How were you then like feeling, okay, thank you, Peggy. Thank you, my
Hmm.
amazing brother for,
Hmm.
you know,
Yeah.
telling me to ride with Wyatt.
Yes.
And
And thank
what
you,
moment?
God. Hmm.
Yeah, and thank
Hmm.
you. Yeah, what at what moment did that click? Where was that you felt like, was it when you were traveling to go be with your parents and you still had this amazing income? Was it somewhere else? I'm kind of curious.
Well, so I was fortunate in that, and I was very blessed in that the people that came to in with me, many of them wanted an income as well. So
Mhm.
many of them were also sharing and working to earn an income.
Right.
And I had my good friend in Alaska. I had Janice Elliott in California at the time, and now she's in Utah. Those are two qualifiers. And then um, other people that I didn't know, uh, came into my life and wanted to build income. So there's a lady so I mean, this is how our business works, right? There's a lady who used to go to church with Peggy, and Peggy shared that this lady needed lifelong vitality. And so she started using lifelong vitality. And then she said, I think my daughter, who has endometriosis, could really benefit from these things. And so
Mm.
Peggy met with the daughter and got the daughter all set up. And then the daughter started feeling a lot better. And then she was like, I need to tell people about this. And so the daughter went from Salt Lake City up to Montana to have a meeting with a friend of hers that's a chiropractor. And there was an office manager at that office that came to the class that night at the chiropractic clinic and said, "This is something I've always wanted. I've been looking for this opportunity for natural health and wellness, that I could do this and make money." And
Amazing.
that was Debbie Youngren. And at one time, Debbie lived in a little town in Montana, Stevensville, Montana, and doTERRA had done some statistic studies, and it had the highest saturation point of any city in the United States because it was a small town, and I think Debbie had enrolled everyone in the town.
In the town.
And Debbie went on to be a diamond, and I didn't know Debbie,
Yeah.
and I would have never, but it's the networking of our business,
Mm-hmm.
the same way as the
Yeah.
Wisconsin team happened because somebody traveled to Wisconsin because they knew somebody there, and then enrolled a lady that has since sadly passed away. But her name was Sue, and Sue loved doTERRA, and she just started telling everybody she knew about it.
Great.
And
So
so
it grew quickly then. So this grew
the next thing you know, my income's growing, and it's
yeah,
not all just because of something I'm doing.
right. It's
It's
because of all of these great people who know people, and it just kind of
Mhm.
took off. And all of a sudden you're like,
Yeah.
wow, it really
And
did
so
become this big thing.
I
Yeah.
think for like 4 months, I cried every month when my doTERRA check came. The first time, I mean, it was growing, and I was feeling good about it. But the first time it was over $1,000, I was just bawling. And the biggest check I had ever earned in my previous company was $1,800, and I had it on my bulletin board. It was my
Yeah.
pride and joy.
So back when they
And
like made real checks and all that. Yeah.
yes, and so when the first time I got a check and it was $1,500, I called Peggy crying, and she's like, "What's wrong?" And I said, "This my doTERRA check. I can't believe it. It's just like such a miracle." And I'm crying and talking to her on the phone, and she's like, "Yes, I told you. God's gonna take care of you. It's gonna be okay. We're gonna do this." And she's so positive. So then, every month I'd call her crying, and she'd be like, "Did you get your check today?" Because I'd be so choked up. And so I believe it or not, I probably was living, like at the poverty level. I think we needed $3,200 to pay our bills, all of our
Okay.
bills.
Yeah.
And I just remember that when it went to $3,000, I was just overwhelmed. I couldn't believe that we were actually paying our bills. And
Amazing.
so Um, I'm trying to think. So as soon as I could pay all the bills, I started a savings program and started um I went to a Dave Ramsey class and learned how about getting out of debt and snowball debt and all that kind of thing. And I started just paying off credit cards one at a time.
Mhm.
And I remember Peggy saying, "Why are you're still driving your old car?" And I said, "Because I'm not buying a new car till I'm out of debt."
Mhm.
And so I did. I just kept paying off all the credit cards. And then when the credit cards were paid off, I started a savings account for a car. And I went in and paid cash for a Toyota RAV in 2000. It was the year Dawson graduated from high school, 2017. So
Mhm.
8 years later.
That's awesome. So you're out of debt, paying cash for a car,
Hmm.
and
And that was that. Hmm.
you're on the road of beautiful things.
Yeah.
Okay, so what what was the hardest part like through this little journey? Like were there, I mean, every day we say, oh gosh, I'm going to quit this business. I know. I'm there most of the time too. But I mean, what was the hardest part for you?
The hardest part for me was, well, for me personally, I was I was insecure about the fact that it was multi-level marketing
Mm,
and trying to work through my own beliefs so that I wasn't embarrassed to tell people what I did. And I actually had a business coach at one point, I can't remember what year that was, but it might have been 2013 or 14. And because I went diamond in 14. And so I think it might have been right in that same vicinity. And she wanted me to go to a networking event. And I said, everybody they're like fancy. They have better fancy cars and they're going
professional.
to pull
Yeah.
in their BMW and they're going to get out with their
Yeah.
coach purse and their suit on and everything. And I said, I'm driving a minivan and I don't have fancy clothes. Um, and she said, Kristi, she said, anybody there would love to have what you have. She said, your sales, she said, your sales are, I think at the time maybe they were I don't know what they were. But they were over 80,000. I know that because she said if your sales are $83,000 a month, that is $1 million in sales a year.
Mm-hmm.
And she said, "Do you know how many people in that room want to have over $1 million in sales a year?" She said they
Yeah.
would love to have what you have.
Yeah.
And so I had to really learn to get to a place where I can say, you know, when somebody says, "What do you do?" I say, I have my own company. I work for a health and wellness company. We have everything from supplements to vitamins to green drinks to energy drinks to essential oils. And
Awesome.
I've been doing this 17 years and I absolutely love it.
Mm-hmm.
I think sometimes when you let people know that you believe in what you are doing and you like what you're doing, it really sends a message to them.
Yeah. For sure. And being confident in what you were saying. I mean, you did have all of that. It was your business. You grew
Mhm.
that, and that's beautiful. So,
But I think a lot of times, especially for women, it's hard
mhm.
because you start out thinking you're like, we don't have Avon ladies anymore, but when I was a little girl, we had an Avon lady that came to our house and it was always so exciting.
Yeah.
But it's kind of like this little, oh, that's your little egg money. That's your
Mhm.
side thing. You don't have a real job.
No.
And I had to really get to a place mentally where I could own it and say, I have a business. I've worked hard for this business. I'm proud of this business, and I don't have to back up to anybody to apologize for what I do.
Right. Yeah.
And, it took time. That was a challenge. Another challenge was for me because of my personality. I love to love people and mother people, and I had to learn that not everybody wants to be mothered. I have to let people run their own race, do their own thing, work at their own speed, um, and not feel like I can rescue everybody. I wanted to rescue everybody. I wanted everybody to be successful, and I wanted everybody to have whatever their hopes and dreams were, and I still do. Uh,
Right.
but I can't do it for them, and I can't make it happen, and that was heavy for me sometimes.
Sure. I think we all have that challenge. Because we know how great this can be. We know how great this supplement is. We know
Mm-hmm.
how great something is. So what I guess what products are you like most excited about that you maybe share the most? And then what products do you use the most right now? Like what are your kind of go-tos?
Goodness, I'm a doTERRA junkie.
Yeah.
I use so many products, and I would be so sad if I didn't have them. I I think, I stick with things that I feel like, the people, I'm in my 60s, people that I come across are in their 60s, and we need help with digestion and inflammation issues and um uh sleep issues, hormone issues. I talk to women all the time about those big items that are just
Mm-hmm.
common,
Right.
Um, and they always say, "Do you think it really helps?" And I'm like, "Yes, yes, I do."
I'm like,
That's why I'm still
I'm
here.
living proof that it helps, and I can line up 100 women, right, that can tell you that it helps. Yeah.
Yes, yes, and yes. And it hurts my feelings sometimes when people I love still choose over-the-counter options. But I think it's almost human nature. People like variety.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, "Oh, well, sometimes I use Serenity gel caps, and then sometimes I just use my other thing or my prescription, or sometimes I do this." And, people just like variety, and I've had to kind of get used to that too.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but those are the easy things that I talk about. Especially pain, inflammation issues. Uh, Deep Blue is easy for me to, I can talk about Deep Blue all day long. I
Yeah.
can, I've also used a lot of oils for anxious feelings and calming, and so that I feel quite confident in that. In terms of when I'm talking to people, like they say, "Can you really think you can help?" And I'm like, "I really think I can."
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Good.
What products do I use,
Yeah.
Melissa? It would be a
Yeah.
very long list.
Well, yeah,
But you know what?
like all of them. Yeah. But what's your favorites
Daily,
right now? What's your kind of go-to right now?
well, daily, I honestly, I can't imagine my day without my VMG and
Mm-hmm.
the MetaPower Advantage combination.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and the probiotics. I know, I've known for a very long time how valuable probiotics are. I think doTERRA's probiotics are cut above most out there, if not all.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like taking those probiotics, it's not something I can see visibly, but in my logical analytical mind, I know my body is benefiting from those probiotics.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Those probiotics are amazing. Like when you do a comparison,
Hmm.
it really is the
And
best.
every night, Brad and I have a little routine. He loves to take Serenity. It was his very first product he ever had. I always say doTERRA brought me my husband, because 7 years ago, Brad and I got married, and we
Yeah.
met. And he was having trouble sleeping because he had lost his first wife to cancer. And
Oh.
it had been like 3 years. And I said, "Well, I said what we all say. What do you do for that?" And he said, "I take melatonin." And I
Mm-hmm.
said, "Really?" I said, "Well, you want to look that up and do a little research, because there's information available now that says that melatonin isn't great to take long term."
Yeah.
And so he did, and he found exactly that to be true. And
Yeah.
he texted me and said, "You were right." He said, "I want to try your product." And
Mm-hmm.
so we'll never know whether he really wanted to try the product or if he really just wanted to see me again. Uh,
Update number
but
two or something.
but but he took the Serenity, and I gave him some balance oil, and
Mm-hmm.
he still 8 years later, is taking to Serenity and putting his balance oil on the back of his neck before he goes to sleep at night. And now, after the research that was presented last year at convention, we both take 2 copaiba at night also.
Oh, wow. Yeah, copaiba. That's an amazing, amazing oil. So is that your favorite oil, or do you got some oils that you're loving right now, a little more than copaiba?
I hate that question. My
Because
favorite.
they're all, it's like trying to pick a favorite child, isn't it?
I have so many favorites. I have rose and frankincense and um deep blue in a little cup by the couch where I sit in the evenings. And I love to just roll rose or frankincense right here on my collarbone just so I can smell it and it just feels so good. Um, but I carry neroli with me all the time because neroli's just it's just a very pretty oil. It makes me feel pretty. It smells pretty. It's like a perfume. It calms me down if I'm stressed.
Mhm.
Um, it's just a really nice oil to have with me at all times. My hero oil is probably Digest Zen because Digest Zen has gotten me out of a lot of emergency situations.
Yeah. Well, that one's good for so many things. I mean, digestion, you can put a little drop of that in water and drink to help calm coughs and um,
Hmm.
open up airways and just kind of help with that. It helps roller it to help with that indigestion, tummy troubles, what is it? Nausea, heartburn, diarrhea, all the things, right?
Yeah,
So,
it's for me, I'm amazed at how it can just calm an upset digestive system down. Whatever it's upset with, whether it's gas or heartburn or just rumbling or um, IBS issues or whatever. I mean, it doesn't really matter, or just cramping. It's like, what's happening? I don't know, but digestion can fix it. That's what I know.
that's awesome. Yeah,
I
I
think
love.
that's been the funniest thing that I've said so many times since 2009 is I don't know what's happening, but the oil fixed it
Yeah.
because I'm not a doctor. I
Right?
don't know
You're
what was
just
going
putting it
on.
on. You didn't even know what was happening then. Yeah.
Yeah.
And isn't that the case really today too? Like really, when it comes down to it, we use the books to for a guide, but
Hmm.
really just put
Hmm.
an oil on it. It's going to help. Like the body knows what to do with it, and that's
Hmm.
what's so beautiful. So, what would you tell someone who's maybe curious but hesitant to start doing this business? What would you say?
Well, I would definitely say if you're looking for a job, it's worth looking at.
Hmm.
And you should be curious
Hmm.
and ask questions
Yeah.
and then pray about it and see if you feel like it's a good fit for you. Do you have time for it? Do you care about people and you want to see people helped? Do you want to be able to, can you manage your own time because you are your own boss?
Hmm.
Can you set goals and reach for them? Uh, the business plan is there. The income commission structure is laid out. doTERRA tells you exactly what you need to do to get there. The job requires day in and day out consistency of doing little things, even when you don't want to. It's the Jeff Olson slight edge principle is
Hmm.
really all we do every day is we are consistent. Even when we don't see results, you keep being consistent because eventually the results will come around.
Yeah. Okay.
And you never know
So,
who you're talking to. You might be talking to that person that's going to end up in Florida enrolling an army back there.
right. You don't know. That's exactly right. So, in keeping with our little theme of being curious, be well, and being fun. So, what are you curious about in your life right now? What are some of the things that you're like questioning or curious about, or that you're like,
Hmm.
hmm,
In my life?
yeah, in your life, in the business, and whatever. Like, I'm just kind of curious. We might not have the answer for him today, but is there something you've been pondering?
Well, yesterday I was pondering how robins can build so many nests so fast in such a short amount of time. I have was watching this robin flying back and forth carrying mud, sticks, moss, grass, I mean, they literally threw up 4 Robin condos in a matter of hours. I was just like, unbelievable. I like,
They're amazing.
and I
Yeah.
said to myself, I wish I could recruit them to sell doTERRA because they are they are undaunted. It didn't matter if the dog barked. It didn't matter if I went out and pulled it down. They just kept going back.
Wow.
Um,
That's
but
awesome.
yeah,
Okay.
right
And
now I'm thinking a lot about my husband's wants to retire.
mm,
And so I've been thinking a lot about that and how blessed I am to have a job that has that flexibility that he can retire and then I can continue to work and
mhm,
and be
yeah,
be
have
available
that income.
and be able to take it with
Hmm.
me. If he says, "Honey, I want to go to the beach for a couple of days," I can go to the beach with him. And I can take my
Hmm.
laptop. I have my phone. I'm still available. I might find some people at the beach that need doTERRA. Um, it just, but I'm just trying to think of it because I have a pretty structured week. I kind of work like in my mind, regular hours or regular job, Monday through Friday. I don't do a ton of work on the weekends. Although when
Right.
I was single, and I had boys at home, I literally had to work on the weekends or when they were with their father because that was when I had help. But
Hmm.
nowadays, I'm kind of on a regular schedule.
Hmm.
And so I'm just kind of curious about this next phase of my life. And I'm curious about who's going to continue to rise up to
Yeah.
doTERRA because I just made some really fun new friend at a retreat I was at, and she's 40 and she has
Yeah.
2 little boys and she's just doing so well. And I just keep saying, you're being consistent and it's going to continue to grow because of your consistency. And and I want to see that. I love seeing that for younger women because doTERRA has been a complete miracle in my life in
Yeah.
every way, shape, or form. The blessing of the friends I have met, the blessing of the things I've learned about health and wellness along the way and about what is the power of essential oils and ways to take care of our bodies and the blessing of the financial freedom that it's given me and the time flexibility it's given me. I am forever grateful to doTERRA for all of those things. And I think that those same things are available even today, even more. We have more resources, we have more history, we have more stability, we have all this longevity. When somebody says, well, does this work? I can say, well, I hope so. I've been using it for 17 years.
Yeah.
It's not just, I don't know, I just got it in the mail yesterday. Um,
Mhm.
I have history. And
Right.
so I can say, yes, it works.
It works. That's awesome. So if you're, because I kind of like asking fun, silly little things, if your wellness journey had a theme song and your like journey here with doTERRA had a theme song, what would it be?
Oh my word. Uh, is Just Keep Swimming a theme song? Just Keep
Just keep
Swimming.
swimming.
Wasn't that Dory's theme song? It's Been a Hard Day's Night by the Beatles.
Yep.
Hey, hey,
Okay.
for the Monkeys.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
There could be a lot of theme songs. It's been a little crazy. It's been incredibly rewarding. There's been days where it was super, super hard.
Mhm.
But sales is always hard. That's not just doTERRA. Sales are
Yeah.
hard. Every
Yeah.
month you meet quotas, and the next month you got to meet them again. And that's
Yep.
just the way sales, that's just that job.
That job.
And
Mm.
so the thing about doTERRA that I love is that we might have to meet those quotas every month, but we have long-term relationships. I have people that I introduced to doTERRA in 2009 that are still ordering doTERRA.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that's really rewarding.
So, what are you most excited about? I mean, here we are. You're 17 years in. We're at the 18th anniversary of doTERRA. And what excites you? What are you looking forward to? Because there's been so much happen. You've had so many great things happen. So what's exciting now? What if somebody's new coming in? What should they be excited about? Because you're excited about it and you've been here all the time.
Well, I think there's actually lots to be excited about, because once a company has their foundation built, like doTERRA has,
Mhm.
they've been able to turn their focus to research and development, do more studies, do more to increase our medical credibility, our scientific credibility, so that people don't think we're selling snake oils.
Yeah,
If they have that thought, they're mistaken because there's study after study that shows this is doing this. Um, I love that. I love that doTERRA has always had a plan. I have never, ever once not felt like doTERRA doesn't know what they're doing.
I agree.
They always have had a plan. They've always stayed out of debt. They've remained privately owned. And they always have a plan for the future. I mean, when the first time, I forget what year it was, but there was a little bit of a scare that we might run out of frankincense in December because of the frankincense sale.
Mm,
And they were like, we will never get that close again. And they started bringing in they created their own bottling facility and to make sure that we never had a flow
right.
break, like we always could
Never a
have what
shortage
we needed.
anywhere.
And they have forecasted how much out we're going to need for so many years and made sure that we have those oils available and we have those agreements with those sourcing farmers. And they've where if something looked like it was just going to be hard to get, they found a way to get it or created a way for it to happen so it would be more stable. And I just think they're going to get more and more innovative. I,
Hmm.
I feel like we had, the MetaPower line came out and it was amazing. And I feel like the VMG, the upgrades to the probiotic, frankincense in a capsule. I mean, now it's just like I just get so excited to go to convention because what are they going to announce? What's going to happen? And is it going to be
Sure.
something new in the skincare line? Is it going to be something new in the oils? Is it going to be something new and a new way of using the oils for some other aspect of our health? I mean, they are very committed to the longevity of feeling good longer.
Mhm.
And man, when you get to your mid 60s, you start thinking a lot about feeling good longer
Right.
and
Getting more life out of those years is
getting
important.
more life out of those years. And so,
Mhm.
what I'm excited about is just what doTERRA is going to do because I'm here to stay. I'm not going anywhere now. I'm here.
Right.
I've already made my investment.
After 17 years, you decided it's good, you're going to stick
Yeah,
around.
I'm here, and so whatever they come out with, I'm gonna be able to have access to it, and I'm gonna get it, and I'm gonna use it, and I'm just excited about that, I
Yeah,
think. And you
cool.
know what? I'm also excited to see uh people continue. I mean, they're continuing to work on what do we need to do with this business model to make it so that it is a good choice for an income for other people. And I'm
Yeah,
excited to see more people being successful in doTERRA.
awesome. Well,
Mhm.
thank you so, so much for being part of the Be Curious podcast, Chrissy. I'm just so thrilled. It's been a pleasure getting to know you and hearing your story. And to all you curious ones listening today, if today's conversation sparked a little curiosity for you, be sure to follow the Be Curious podcast so you don't miss future episodes because we'll highlight some great oils coming up. I kind of tidbitted that earlier. And we've got some exciting more interviews coming. So definitely stay tuned. And if you want to learn more about this opportunity, you can reach out to me. If there's somebody that you've talked to about it, reach out to them. Remember, stay curious, take care of your body, and don't forget to have a little fun along the way.